Hey warriors, the first breath you take when you wake up belongs to you, not to your job, not to your problems, not to anyone else, just you. But people hand it over immediately. Eyes barely open and they're already prisoners of their own mental chaos. The 1% who control their thoughts before 8 a.m. aren't special. They just figured something out that others never will. Your mind in the morning is wet cement. Whatever touches it first leaves a permanent print. For 99% of people, what touches it is panic, doubt, stress, emptiness. They lose the entire day before the sun finishes rising. They don't even realize it happened. Your whole life gets won or lost in that first hour. Not in the afternoon when you're already exhausted. Not at night when you're replaying what went wrong. Right there, in the silence. Before 8 a.m. Thoughts aren't random. They're planted. If you don't plant them yourself, something else will. Your environment plants them. Your memories plant them. Your fears plant them. So the 1% grab control early, before the invasion starts. They don't wait around for motivation. They don't hope for a good day. They build it, quietly, with precision. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Waking up at 5 a.m. isn't the point. Waking up different is. Your mind is the most valuable thing you'll ever own. In the morning, the gates are wide open. Everything wants in. Those who win stand guard. They decide what enters. They decide what stays. They decide what shapes the next 16 hours of their existence. You've been taught that willpower is everything, that discipline solves it all, but nobody told you both of those get built or destroyed in the first 60 minutes of your day. You can't discipline a mind that's already been hijacked. You can't willpower your way out of a morning that started in surrender. Marcus Aurelius also said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." People think they're in control because they make decisions and handle responsibilities. But they're not controlling anything. They're reacting. Reacting to thoughts they didn't choose. Reacting to emotions they didn't create. Reacting to a mental state they didn't design. Winners don't react in the morning. They create. They set the frequency. They choose the station. Everything else tunes in. This is survival. If you don't control your mind before 8 a.m., you'll spend the rest of your day being controlled by it. That's not living. That's being lived. If you're ready to master your mind before the world wakes, type this in the comments right now. I own my morning. Number 1. They don't wake up. They take command. Waking up and taking command are completely different things. 99% of people wake up and let the day happen to them. Winners wake up and make the day bend. A gap exists between opening your eyes and your mind actually turning on. In that gap, everything gets decided. 5 seconds, maybe 10. People don't even know it exists, but it's there, and it's everything. When you wake up, your brain is transitioning, moving from unconscious to conscious. It's soft, vulnerable, wide open. No defenses yet, no armor. It's booting up. During that boot sequence, you get to choose which programs run first. Winners choose focus, gratitude, intention, strength. Everyone else chooses worry, regret, distraction, weakness. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." They don't roll over. They don't grab comfort. They don't ease into anything. They strike first. They control their breath, their posture, their first thought, because that first thought is the leader. Everything after it either follows or fights it. Your body wakes up before your mind does. In that space, without intention, your mind defaults to whatever it was running before you slept. Old patterns, old fears, old narratives. Winners interrupt that. They don't let yesterday's mental state become today's starting point. They reset, on purpose. Taking command means you don't ask yourself how you feel. You tell yourself. You don't wait to see if you have energy. You decide you do. You don't wonder if today will be good. You declare it will be what you build. This sounds harsh because it is. Morning is not the time for passivity. Being passive in the morning is submission. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Your mind is a kingdom. Every morning, a moment exists where the throne is empty. If you don't sit in it, something else will. Anxiety will. Doubt will. Laziness will. Once it sits down, it's hard to remove. But claiming that throne first, claiming it fast and certain, makes everything else bow. Your emotions bow. Your impulses bow. Your excuses bow. Perfection isn't the goal. Sovereignty is. Refusing to be a passenger in your own head. People spend their entire lives being driven around by thoughts they never invited in. Winners get in the driver's seat before the engine starts. They don't wait to feel ready. They create ready. They don't wait to feel strong. They decide to be strong. That decision, made in the first 90 seconds of consciousness, changes everything. You're not a victim of your mental state. You're the creator of it. But only if you act early. Only if you act fast. Only if you wake up like you mean it. Winners don't hope for a good morning. They engineer it. That's why they win. Not later, not eventually. Right there, before 8 a.m. Write this in the comments and feel it. I lead my thoughts. I lead my day. Number 2. They filter their mind before letting thoughts settle. Your mind doesn't come with a filter. It takes everything, every sound, every feeling, every memory trying to resurface. In the morning, when your consciousness is forming, your mind is at its most absorbent, like a sponge that hasn't learned to be selective. Winners understand this. They know the first 15 minutes after waking up is when mental contamination happens. So they don't let everything in. They filter. Filtering isn't about ignoring reality. It's about deciding which version of reality you focus on first. Multiple truths happen simultaneously. You have problems. You also have strengths. You have things that scare you. You also have things that empower you. The difference. People let their mind grab the heaviest, darkest thought first and carry it into the day. Winners don't allow that. They intercept. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Before 8 a.m., reaction speed is everything. A thought enters. You have 3 seconds, maybe 5, to decide if it stays or goes. People don't even know they have this choice. A worry crosses their mind and they accept it. They treat it like truth, like law, like something they have to live with. But winners treat thoughts like applications trying to open on their computer, and they close the ones that don't serve them immediately. This takes practice, awareness, understanding that your mind is going to offer you garbage every single morning, not because you're broken, because your mind's job is to scan for threats. Remember pain. Protect you from repeating mistakes. That's survival mode. Survival mode doesn't care about your happiness. It cares about keeping you alive. So it feeds you fear, doubt, every reason why today might go wrong. Winners don't fight this. They expect it. They wake up knowing their mind is going to try pulling them into darkness, and they're ready. They have a counter-thought prepared, a mantra, a truth they've chosen in advance to replace the lie. When the thought says, "You're not ready," they respond with, "I'm built for this." When it says, "This is too hard," they say, "I've done harder." They don't debate, they replace. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That's the trap. People suffer in the morning for things that haven't even happened yet. They wake up and immediately imagine all the ways the day could go wrong, all the things that might hurt, all the people who might disappoint them. By the time they get out of bed, they're emotionally exhausted. They've lived through 5 tragedies that never occurred. Winners don't do this. They don't let imagination run wild. They direct it. Filtering your mind means you become the gatekeeper. You stand at the entrance and check credentials. Does this thought help me? Does it make me stronger? Does it move me forward? If the answer is no, it doesn't get in. This isn't pretending everything is fine. This is strategic thinking. Understanding you only have so much mental bandwidth in the morning. You're not wasting it on thoughts that weaken you. People let their mind become a dumping ground. Every regret, every anxiety, every piece of mental trash piles up. Then they wonder why they feel heavy before the day starts. Winners keep their mind clean. They filter ruthlessly. Because of that, they move through the morning with clarity, lightness, mental freedom others haven't felt in years. You don't have to accept every thought your mind offers. You're not obligated to believe every story your brain tells. You're allowed to say no, redirect, choose a different frequency, but only if you do it early, before the thoughts settle and harden into your emotional state for the day. Number 3. They slow down their brain while others speed up. Speed gets worshipped in this world. Fast replies, fast decisions, fast movement. But winners know something that sounds backwards. The fastest way to win the day is to slow down your brain first. While everyone else is speeding up mentally, they slow down, on purpose, strategically, because a fast brain in the morning is a panicked brain, and panic doesn't build anything worth keeping. When you wake up, your nervous system is trying to figure out what mode to enter. Fight or flight, rest or digest, safety or survival. The speed at which your thoughts move in the first 20 minutes sends a signal to your entire body about which mode to choose. If your thoughts race, your body assumes there's danger. Cortisol spikes, heart rate increases, muscles tense. You've activated survival mode. Once you're in survival mode before 8 a.m., you're done. You'll be reactive all day. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present." Winners do this by slowing their brain down on purpose. They don't rush into thinking. They don't jump into planning. They don't let their mind sprint toward the to-do list or problems waiting for them. They sit in slowness, breathe slower, think slower, move slower. Not because they're lazy, because they're calm, and calm is the most powerful state you can operate from. People wake up, and their brain immediately goes into overdrive. What do I have to do today? What did I forget yesterday? What's going to go wrong? Who's going to need something? What's the worst that could happen? Their mind is an engine that starts at full throttle. You can't control a vehicle that's redlining. You can only react to it. Winners start their mental engine in idle. They let it warm up. Let it find rhythm before pressing the gas. Slowing down your brain is a skill. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to train yourself to resist the urge to think fast. Train yourself to pause. Observe. Let thoughts come without chasing them. Let feelings exist without drowning in them. This separates people who control their mornings from people controlled by them. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Before you speed up, you have to know where you're going. You can't know where you're going if your brain is already racing. Winners slow down so they can see clearly. Slow down so they can choose intentionally. Slow down so they don't waste energy on mental directions that lead nowhere. Once they've chosen their direction, locked in on focus, then they speed up, not before. The world tries to speed you up. Notifications try. Your own anxiety tries. If you let it, you'll spend the entire day chasing your own thoughts and never catching them. You'll feel busy, but accomplish nothing. Feel exhausted, but have nothing to show for it. That's what happens when you let your brain run wild in the morning. Winners refuse to live like that. They take control of their mental speed. They choose slowness when slowness is needed. Choose stillness when stillness creates clarity. Because they do this before 8 a.m., they enter the rest of the day from power instead of panic. They're not reacting to life. They're responding to it. There's a massive difference. Slowing down your brain doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing one thing at a time with full presence. Thinking one thought fully before moving to the next. Feeling one emotion completely before letting another in. It's the opposite of how others operate. That's exactly why it works. Number 4. They cut off mental noise before it multiplies. Mental noise doesn't start loud. It starts as a whisper, a small doubt, a tiny worry, a fleeting distraction. But if you don't cut it off immediately, it multiplies. One thought becomes 2. 2 become 5. 5 become 20. Before you know it, your mind is screaming at you and you can't even remember what started it. Winners don't let it get that far. They cut off mental noise the second it appears. Before 8 a.m., before it grows roots. Noise isn't just sound. Noise is anything that takes up mental space without adding value. The argument you replayed 17 times. The thing you can't control but keep trying to solve. The comparison. The judgment. The loop of thoughts that go nowhere but won't stop spinning. In the morning, when your mental defenses are still waking up, noise can take over in seconds. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Winners revoke it. They don't give noise permission to settle. They recognize it, name it, dismiss it. This sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest skills to develop because your mind wants to engage with everything. Your mind wants to analyze, solve, figure out. Even when there's nothing to figure out. Even when engaging with the noise only makes it louder. People wake up and the noise starts immediately. A conversation they need to have later, a decision they're avoiding, a fear about something that might not happen. Instead of cutting it off, they entertain it. Let it sit at the breakfast table. Let it follow them into the shower. Let it ride through the entire morning. By the time they're supposed to be productive, their mind is cluttered, exhausted, too full to focus. Winners operate differently. When mental noise shows up, they don't ignore it. Ignoring doesn't work. It just comes back louder. Instead, they acknowledge it and actively choose to let it go. They say, "I see you. You're not important right now. You don't get my attention." Then they redirect focus to something intentional, something that actually moves them forward. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Noise pulls you out of the present, drags you into a future you can't control or a past you can't change. Morning is the worst time to let that happen because morning sets your emotional baseline for the day. If you start with mental noise, you carry that frequency into every interaction, every task, every decision. You're half present everywhere because part of you is stuck in the noise. Cutting off mental noise requires speed and discipline. You can't wait until it feels comfortable to let go. Can't wait until you've thought about it enough. You have to cut it off even when it feels unresolved, even when your mind says it's important. Because usually it's not. Usually it's just your brain trying to protect you from uncertainty by keeping you busy with useless thoughts. Winners know that mental clarity is their most valuable resource. They protect it like their life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. Your quality of life is directly tied to the quality of your thoughts. If your thoughts are noisy, chaotic, uncontrolled, your life reflects that. But if your thoughts are clean, focused, intentional, everything else falls into place. You can't control everything that enters your mind, but you can control what stays, what you give energy to, what you allow to multiply. Winners don't try to stop thoughts from coming. They just refuse to let the wrong ones stay. They cut off the noise, protect the signal, and they do it before 8 a.m., when it's still easy, when it's still just a whisper. Because once the noise gets loud, it's a war. People lose that war because they didn't fight early enough. Winners win because they fight the moment it starts. They don't wait. They don't negotiate. They cut it off and move on. Number 5. They create emotional stability before the first challenge. Emotions don't wait for permission. They show up when they want. In the morning, they show up raw, unfiltered, unmanaged. You might wake up feeling anxious for no reason, or heavy, or irritated, or numb. If you don't create emotional stability before the first challenge hits, you'll get swept away by whatever emotion is running the show. Winners don't leave their emotional state to chance. They build stability on purpose. Before anything tests them, emotions are real, but they're not always true. You can feel afraid when there's no danger, feel sad when nothing bad happened, feel angry when no one wronged you. Your emotions are signals, but they're not always accurate. In the morning, when your nervous system is recalibrating and brain chemistry is balancing, emotions can lie to you, loudly. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." Winners understand this. They don't take their morning emotions at face value. Don't let a bad feeling dictate their actions. They create a buffer, a foundation, a baseline of emotional stability that doesn't depend on how they woke up feeling, because they know feelings are temporary. But decisions made based on those feelings can last all day. People wake up and let emotions run the morning. If they feel tired, they move slow. If they feel stressed, they spiral. If they feel unmotivated, they give up before starting. They're reactive to their own internal weather. Because they never stabilize, they spend the whole day being tossed around by emotional waves they didn't see coming. Winners stabilize first. They do this through breath, stillness, affirmations, gratitude, movement. Doesn't matter what the tool is. What matters is they use something to anchor themselves emotionally before the world asks anything of them. They create a calm center. From that center, they can handle anything. Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Emotional stability isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about not being controlled by how you feel. Having the ability to feel fear and still move forward. Feel doubt and still take action. Feel heavy and still show up. Winners don't wait to feel ready. They build readiness from the inside out. Construct it intentionally in the first 30 minutes of the day. When you do this, challenges don't hit as hard. Stress doesn't spiral as fast. Disappointment doesn't destroy you. Because you're not starting from zero. You're starting from stable. You've already grounded yourself, already chosen your emotional posture. So when life throws something at you, you don't collapse. You adjust. The difference between someone who falls apart at the first sign of trouble and someone who stays solid isn't talent, isn't luck. It's emotional stability. And emotional stability gets built in the quiet, in the early, in moments before anyone is watching. Winners build it while everyone else is still stumbling around emotionally blind. You don't have to feel perfect to be powerful. Don't have to feel happy to be productive. You just have to be stable. And stability is a choice you make before the day demands anything from you. It's a foundation you pour in the morning so when the weight comes, you don't crack. People wait to see how they feel before deciding how to act. Winners decide how to act and then create the feeling that supports it. That's the difference. That's the edge. That's what makes them unshakable before 8 a.m. Number 6. They lock in one powerful thought and build the day around it. People wake up with 100 thoughts competing for attention. Because they don't choose one, they end up chasing all of them and catching none. Winners do the opposite. They lock in one powerful thought before 8 a.m. and build the entire day around it. Not 10 thoughts, not 5, 1. Because one clear thought executed fully is worth more than 1,000 scattered ideas that go nowhere. This is about focus, but it's deeper. It's about identity, about deciding who you're going to be today before the world tries to decide for you. Winners wake up and ask themselves one question. What's the one thought that, if I carry it all day, will make me unstoppable? Whatever answer comes, they lock it in. Don't second-guess it. Don't workshop it. They claim it and protect it. Seneca said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Your day is only as good as the thought you build it on. If you build it on fear, every decision will be defensive. If you build it on doubt, every action will be hesitant. If you build it on strength, every move will be intentional. Winners choose strength, choose clarity, choose one empowering thought and let it become the backbone of their day. You wake up. Don't reach for anything. Don't move yet. Sit with yourself for 60 seconds and ask, what do I need to believe today to win? Maybe it's, I am capable. Maybe I am enough. Maybe I finish what I start. Maybe nothing breaks my focus. Doesn't matter what the exact words are. What matters is you choose one thought that resonates with power, one thought that makes you feel solid. Then you repeat it. Don't just think it once and move on. Repeat it until it sinks in, until it stops being a sentence and starts being a frequency, until your nervous system believes it, until your body feels it. Winners don't rush this part. They know locking in a thought takes more than a passing glance, takes repetition, conviction, speaking it into existence before the noise tries to drown it out. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you let random thoughts dye your soul, you become random, scattered, weak. But if you choose one powerful thought and let it saturate your mind, you become that thought. Embody it. Live it. Everything you do that day becomes an extension of it. Winners aren't trying to think positively about everything. They're trying to think powerfully about one thing. And that one thing becomes their anchor. People don't do this because they think one thought isn't enough. They think they need a whole strategy, a whole plan, a whole system. But winners know systems break down. Plans change, strategies fail. But a locked-in thought? That stays, travels with you, holds you together when everything else falls apart. When you lock in one powerful thought, everything else aligns around it. Your actions align, energy aligns, decisions align. You stop second-guessing because you're not operating from confusion. You're operating from clarity. You're not reacting to every trigger because you have a foundation that doesn't move. You've already decided what today's about. That decision protects you from distraction. People wake up and let the day tell them what to think. Winners wake up and tell the day what they've already decided. They don't wait to see how things unfold. They set the tone, establish the frequency, lock in the thought that will carry them through chaos, doubt, fatigue, every moment that tries to pull them off course. You don't need 1,000 affirmations. Don't need a vision board filled with dreams you don't believe yet. You need one thought, one sentence, one truth you're willing to defend all day long. If you lock that in before 8 a.m., make it non-negotiable. Let it become the lens through which you see everything. You will move differently, decide differently, win differently. Winners don't hope for a good day. They engineer it with one powerful thought. That's why they're never lost. because no matter what happens, they know exactly what they stand on. Comment this affirmation: one thought, all day. Number 7. They treat 7:59 a.m. as a psychological deadline. Deadlines create urgency. Urgency creates focus. Winners know this, so they don't treat the morning as an open-ended stretch of time where they can ease into the day whenever they feel like it. They treat 7:59 a.m. as a psychological deadline, a hard stop, a point of no return. Because after 8 a.m., the world wakes up. Once the world wakes up, it wants a piece of you. Winners make sure they've already claimed themselves before that happens. This isn't about the specific time, it's about the principle. Having a cut-off point where you say, before this moment, I belong to me. After this moment, I engage with the world. That boundary is sacred, protected, non-negotiable. Without it, you'll give yourself away before you've even built yourself up. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Winners master themselves before 8 a.m. They use the deadline to force completion, force clarity, force them to stop lingering in bed, stop drifting through thoughts, stop delaying the mental work that needs to happen. They know they have until 7:59 a.m. to do the internal work. When that clock hits 8 o'clock, they're done, locked in, ready. No, I'll do it later. No, I'll get to it when I feel like it. The deadline eliminates negotiation. People treat the morning like it's infinite, like they can take as long as they want to get their mind right. Because there's no deadline, there's no urgency. Because there's no urgency, nothing gets done. They drift, procrastinate, tell themselves they'll get focused eventually, but eventually never comes. By the time they realize they're not ready, the day is already demanding things from them. Winners don't let that happen. They create artificial pressure. Tell themselves, I have until 8 a.m. to win my mind. After that, it's go time. That pressure doesn't stress them out. It focuses them, makes them move with intention, makes them prioritize what actually matters. When you know you only have a limited window, you don't waste it, you use it. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The morning isn't short, but people waste it. They waste it on overthinking, waiting to feel motivated. Winners don't wait. They act, move, claim the time they have and make it count. The deadline keeps them honest, keeps them from slipping into comfort, keeps them sharp. When you treat 7:59 a.m. as a deadline, you stop negotiating with yourself. Stop saying, just 5 more minutes. Stop telling yourself you'll do it after coffee. You get up and handle your mental business immediately. Breathe. Ground yourself. Lock in your thought. Cut off the noise. Stabilize your emotions. Filter your mind. Take command. Do it all before the clock runs out. When 8 a.m. hits, you're different. You're not the same person who woke up. You're sharper, calmer, clearer, stronger. You've already won. The rest of the day is just execution. You're not trying to find yourself anymore, not trying to get it together. You already did that. Before the deadline, before the world asked you for anything. People wake up whenever, start their day whenever, get serious whenever. Whenever turns into never. Winners have a line in the sand. That line is 7:59 a.m. After that, it's too late to build yourself. After that, you're either ready or you're not, and they make sure they're ready every single day. This separates people who control their lives from people controlled by them. Winners understand time is the only resource you can't get back. So they don't waste the most important hour. They protect it, maximize it, treat it like the psychological battleground it is, and they win that battle before others even know there's a war. You don't need more time. You need a deadline, a point where you tell yourself, this is it. No more delays, no more excuses. I have until this moment to get my mind right, and I'm using every second. When you do that, when you give yourself a hard stop, everything changes. Suddenly, the morning isn't something that happens to you. It's something you conquer. Winners don't wake up hoping for a good day. They create it. Before 8 a.m., before the noise, before the world gets loud, they take command of their first thought, filter what enters their mind, slow their brain down when everyone else speeds up, cut off mental noise before it multiplies, build emotional stability before the first challenge, lock in one powerful thought, and build the day around it. Treat 7:59 a.m. like a psychological deadline that can't be moved. Perfection isn't the goal. Intention is. Understanding the morning is the foundation, and if the foundation is weak, everything built on it will crumble. Winners protect their mornings like their lives depend on it, because in every way that matters, they do. You've been given the blueprint. You know what they do. You know why it works. Now the only question is, are you going to join them? Are you going to take control before 8 a.m. or keep giving your mind away to whatever grabs it first? The choice is yours, but winners made their choice a long time ago. That's why they're winning. If this video gave you something valuable, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your affirmation. Share this with someone still losing their mornings. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to become part of the 1%. We're just getting started. Now go take command of tomorrow, before 8 a.m., before anything else. Your turn. Comment below. I am the 1%.